tell them when we talked about the school, first give them an update of where you are with the school. Then
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, first of all, 2014, I took my first donation for FDMG in St. Louis, Missouri. 2019, we purchased a 4-building former black charter school campus in Wilmington, Delaware. That's where we are. This is 2025, so 5 years to buy the school, 6 years to renovate the school. Right now, all renovations are done except we got to tile the floor and rekey the classrooms. Cosmetic surgery. Once we tile the floor and rekey the classrooms, which will be done by the end of this summer, we're going to apply for our certificate of occupancy. And once we get our certificate of occupancy, we're going to have a grand opening celebration, and all y'all better be there. But if you hated on me, keep your ass in Cleveland.
Instigators and defamers, that's all we going to say. That's all we ain't got no more words. We ain't got no more words, brothers and sisters. I'm at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. The accounts are still frozen. We're looking into it. The accounts are still frozen, brothers and sisters. We're supposed to hear back Friday. We're supposed to hear back Friday. That sounds like Monday to me. The bank is giving us the runaround. We ain't got our check back. So we're about to operate attorneys. Attorneys is about to get involved because we were told that when your account gets canceled, you're supposed to get your refund check for the amount that was in the account. We have not received that yet. So there's some funny business going on right now, brothers and sisters. There's some funny business going on right now, brothers and sisters. They messing with our bills. They messing with our automatic payments. They messing up a lot of stuff with this frozen account. They froze me and they froze the school. That's all right. That's ladies, it's called Lunch with the Doctor. It's called Lunch with the Doctor. You make a $500 donation to FDMG Academy, ladies. $500 donation to FDMG Academy, and you get a free lunch with Dr. Umar.
Yeah, man. I think Umar is one of the most brilliant black men ever. He's a great orator, but I think he's a con artist.
Have you noticed how the Dr. Umar Johnson situation has created this strange polarization where people seem to be watching completely different movies? Some see a visionary leader being persecuted, others see a skilled manipulator exploiting community trust, and both sides are absolutely convinced they're seeing reality clearly. I found myself fascinated by this phenomenon. How can the same person generate such radically different perceptions? And why does this pattern keep repeating with black leaders specifically? Malcolm, Farrakhan, even modern figures like Dr. Sebi, all creating this intense division between devotion and skepticism. What if I told you you were witnessing something far more profound than just another controversy? What if the Dr. Umar situation is revealing a deeper pattern in consciousness with what scholars call Black Messiah syndrome, where communities traumatized by systematic oppression create powerful energetic projections onto leaders who articulate their pain? Today, I'm exploring the fascinating quantum dynamics behind this phenomena, how collective trauma creates projection fields, why we keep recreating this pattern, and most importantly, how understanding these dynamics can help us build more sustainable models of leadership and community healing. Why do certain leaders trigger such powerful projection fields? Dr. Umar Johnson isn't just a controversial figure. He's become what psychologists might call a projection screen for the collective hopes, fears, and unresolved traumas within the Black community. This creates what we would call a quantum field of projection, where people aren't seeing the actual person, but rather their own unconscious material reflected back. Think of it like this. When a community has experienced generations of betrayal, disappointment, and systematic oppression, it creates a powerful energetic vacuum, a collective yearning for salvation and vindication and empowerment. Leaders who step into this vacuum don't just bring their individual energy, they become conduits for the massive collective field. Remember Dr. Umar's viral speech where he proclaimed, "We will have the most powerful school for Black boys in the country." That moment wasn't just about a school, it was tapping into centuries of educational disenfranchisement and dreams deferred. The energy that statement generated wasn't just about the literal promise, it was activating a quantum field of ancestral longing. And this explains why reactions to his fundraising controversy are so intensely polarized. Those projecting messianic hopes onto him experience criticism as an attack on possibility itself. Those projecting skepticism based on historical disappointments see confirmation of expected betrayal. Few are seeing the actual human being beneath these projections. I've observed this same pattern with figures like Marcus Garvey to Dr. Sebi, the intensity of both devotion and criticism, revealing more about our cultural field than about the individual themselves. It's like watching quantum mechanics play out in human psychology. How does historical trauma create these powerful projection fields? What's happening with Dr. Umar reveals a recurring pattern that scholars call Black Messiah syndrome, a phenomenon where communities that have experienced profound historical trauma seek individual saviors rather than sustainable collective structures. Think of collective consciousness like water. It naturally flows into available channels. Centuries of systematic oppression have created deep channels directing community energy towards charismatic individuals rather than distributed systems of power. Dr. Umar didn't create this pattern, he stepped into a pre-existing energetic architecture. Look at the striking similarities in language between how people describe Marcus Garvey in 1920s, Malcolm X in the 1960s, and now Dr. Umar. The same phrases about finally speaking truth and the only one brave enough to say it. This isn't coincidence. It's the same energy pattern repeating across generations. The FDMG Academy fundraising controversy reveals this dynamic perfectly. The $400,000 raised wasn't just financial support, it was an energetic investment in possibility. When questions arose about the school's development, the emotional reaction wasn't just about money, it was about the potential collapse of a collective dream space. I've witnessed similar patterns in other marginalized communities. This isn't unique to Black America. Historical trauma creates specific consciousness architectures that persist across generations until they're consciously transformed. What's most fascinating is how this pattern creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. The immense projections make sustainable leadership nearly impossible. The weight of that messianic, I always get that word, messianic expectations eventually collapse even the most well-intentioned leaders. This explains why we keep recreating this cycle despite predictable outcomes. How do we break these cycles of projection and disappointment? The Dr. Umar controversy reveals something profound about accountability in traumatized communities. In quantum terms, accountability exists in a superposition, simultaneously essential for healing and triggering of historical trauma around surveillance and punishment. Think of accountability like gravity, a fundamental force that enables structure. Communities without internal accountability mechanisms can't build sustainable movements. Yet for communities that have experienced centuries of hyper-surveillance and unjust punishment, accountability triggers deep trauma responses. Remember the intense reactions when people simply asked for financial transparency about the FDMG Academy. Some perceived these basic questions as attacks or hating. This isn't random, it's a trauma response to a history where legitimate Black enterprises were constantly subjected to excessive scrutiny designed to undermine them. This creates what psychologists call a double bind, a situation where both options demanding accountability or avoiding it lead to negative outcomes. Without accountability, projects collapse from internal contradictions. With accountability, historical trauma is triggered, creating resistance and division. I've observed how this double buying creates the perfect environment for the exploitation of community resources. Leaders can deflect legitimate questions by framing accountability as persecution, while community members hesitate to ask necessary questions for fear of undermining collective progress. The most profound insight here is that breaking this cycle requires creating new consciousness architectures, developing accountability practices that honor both the need for structure and the reality of historical trauma. This isn't just about Dr. Umar, it's about transforming how we build community power across generations. How can we create new models of leadership beyond projection? The Dr. Umar situation offers a powerful opportunity to transform how we relate to leadership itself, moving from projection-based models to what we might call distributed consciousness approaches creates more sustainable structures for collective empowerment. Think of leadership energy like electricity. It can flow through a single high-resistance wire, creating heat and light, but eventually burning out. Or it can flow through a distributed network, powering an entire system sustainably. The Dr. Umar controversy reveals the limitations of the concentrated model. Look at how quickly the conversation collapses into binary thinking, either total devotion or complete rejection. This polarization is a direct result of concentrated projection rather than distributed consciousness. When we invest our hopes in one figure, we create unsustainable energetic dynamics. I've been studying alternative models that distribute leadership energy across networks rather than individuals. These approaches recognize that no one single person can embody the full spectrum of qualities needed for community transformation. Instead, different people embody different aspects of the whole, creating resilience through diversity. The most powerful shift happens when we move from asking, is this leader worthy of our projection, to asking, how can we create systems where leadership circulates rather than concentrates? This isn't about rejecting powerful voices like Dr. Umar, but about placing them within sustainable contexts rather than atop pedestals. By understanding these dynamics, you can engage with figures like Dr. Umar neither as messiahs nor as villains, but as specific expressions of collective energy with both gifts and limitations. This consciousness shift doesn't just change how we see our current leaders, it transforms how we build leadership structures for generations to come. The Dr. Umar Johnson controversy isn't just about another social media debate. It's a profound opportunity to recognize and transform patterns that have shaped Black leadership for generations. By understanding the quantum dynamics of projection, messianic expectation, and accountability, we can move towards more sustainable models of collective empowerment. This isn't about condemning or defending any individual, but about seeing the larger consciousness patterns that keep recreating similar situations across decades. By bringing awareness to these unconscious dynamics, we create the possibility for new approaches that honor both the power of visionary voices and the necessity of sustainable structures. Have you experienced these dynamics of projection and idealization in your own community spaces? Have you noticed similar patterns with other leaders? Share your insights in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you're navigating these complex energetic dynamics If this perspective resonated with you, hit the like and subscribe button to join our community, and also hit that notification bell and don't miss our next video. Until next time, remember that even our most challenging collective patterns contain the most seeds of transformation when viewed through the lenses of conscious awareness. Stay conscious in the field.